soon as you can pass that post.
We're live.
Ooh.
We're doing it live!
Better share out the social links and stuff. Oh, where's your vape smoke?
My vape run out.
Oh.
No.
Yeah, I need to go to the shop.
Okay, let's see if this is gonna work. Can everyone hear us? Are we good enough for you? Is this episode 15?
Episode 15!
Alright, someone let us know if you can hear us in there. I don't think anyone's going to watch today purely because if it's so hot. Yo, we got Stu Batman in the building.
Evening all.
Well, Batman Stu. Can you hear us okay? Are we live? That's my alarm to say feed Charlie, my dog.
Oh no. Charlie!
Yeah, they're hearing us loud and clear.
Loud and clear. That's Lee, Stu. What did you say? You have to read the comments.
Here, loud and clear.
Brilliant.
Wow.
Oh, what's going on, Ben?
Really
So
cool.
everyone, welcome to a special episode 15 of the Black Art Podcast Live. And today we're joined by two special guests. So I'm Lloyd.
I'm Jake.
This is Elliot.
Yep.
I should have spoken for
Elliot.
you. Speaking my puppet. We got Elliot and we got Sam over here. And we thought we would tune in live today to do something different. As you guys know, we do a weekly podcast where we talk about, we just try and have a creative jam, like a fly on the wall sort of feel to them. And over the last few days, we've sort of had a creative sort of congress here in a secret location.
Yeah.
10 points if you can guess where we are. But we met up in like the middle of the country, and just to sort of film some exciting stuff, to like come up with some new ideas. So we figured, why not bring the Black Art Podcast to you live and have a little creative jam. So if you guys have any questions or any like sort of creative challenges that you want to set us, I can see the chat like blowing up there, then feel free to do so. In the meantime, actually go on, Sam, what's been happening in the chat?
We've got Michael Floyd, we've got Henry Ferris, Alfie, Matt Dean. Stu's got an idea that you can give us, which I think we're all ears for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on then, what's the idea?
I don't know, he hasn't given us this.
Speak up then, Stu.
Yeah. So the main reason why we've been filming the last few days is with Elliot, because give us some love in the chat. Put some like thumbs up emojis if you know or have seen Elliot or recognize Elliot. If you don't recognize him from his face, you will absolutely recognize his magic. He's the guy that I plaster in all of my convention vlog videos. He does the super slow motion visual magic, and we may or may not have been filming some stuff for all of you guys to check out. Any want to give any teasers? Maybe what they might see.
Well, there's a variety of things. There's some card stuff. There's some stuff with normal objects. All of it can be handed out, which is fun. I believe. I'm pretty sure.
Except for one thing.
Oh, except for one thing. Fair enough.
But it is the
Yeah.
best one.
Fair. But yeah, just some fun stuff.
Got the thumbs ups rolling in.
we got Stu's idea. It was to have a picture of a bird on your t-shirt and then pull it off into a real or fake bird.
Picture of a bird.
Yeah, on your shirt and then pull it off.
Do you have any birds on your shirt? Anyone?
No.
I think we're missing the bird.
What have you got?
Yeah.
You got it? What's on yours?
I've got a TV show. It's not a bird.
So where are we going to get a bird from? We can try. We should go and count it. Well, you've got a receipt printer, so maybe you buy the T-shirt from Peacocks, which is a bird. So you say, "Have you seen? I've got a bird on my shirt." And people are like, "What are you on about?" Yeah, and you show it's the Peacocks label, and then you pull it, and a bird comes off. Yeah, it's a peacock. No. All right. Well, you create something then, Elliot. I'm waiting.
I definitely wouldn't do it with live animals.
Yeah. In general or the trick?
Last time I got caught, so I've sworn off it.
I'm Welsh. It's just a way. It's just a way of
Well,
life for us. Yeah,
The way we learned.
But if you have any questions, please start firing them in, and we will all try to answer them as best as possible. We've got a good mix of magicians, performers, creators here. So we have Sam, who does like stage and walk around magic. We've got Jake, who's a fantastic mentalist, and a sheddy yeti. This is hair from Jake's head.
That's my invisible thread. It's impromptu invisible thread, which I'm releasing soon.
Sam's just gone to the kitchen.
We've got a request to put something soft under the mic stand.
Something soft onto the mic stand.
Oh, the vibrations.
Oh, that's a good shout. How's that?
Chris James said there's a face in the glass behind us. Run. We did notice that the other day, and I think it might actually be someone.
It is locked.
Because it moves.
We've got some love for Elliot in the chat as well, from Henry.
Thank you.
What are these comments coming through then?
We've got Elsie's been experimenting with linking hair ties. Any other ideas?
Linking hair ties. I remember a
quite fun.
project about that at one point. Oh, you've got some.
I've got one.
And you've got
one.
one. Is that a hair tie?
It's a bobble.
I remember there was an old thing like it was an impromptu trick. So you would do this with it. Do you remember the Paul Harris impromptu linking cards? I can't remember the way to get into it, but you would do this sort of thing.
If anyone's listening to this after the fact on Spotify,
Oh yeah, people on
Lloyd's
Spotify.
showing us
True.
the effect.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. In case you are listening on Spotify, we are live on YouTube right now. I'm trying. It was a weird setup thing. Do we have 2 cards we can rip up? I can do it with cards instead, and then my muscle memory will kick back in. But you could do this with hair ties. Do you know what I'm on about, Elliot?
No, never
The
seen that.
impromptu linking, and it has no slits or holes. You would do. You would need way bigger rips. I don't know if you guys can see. So I'm taking 2 playing cards for all of you listening on streaming services, and I'm tearing a hole straight through both of them, so they look like door frames. And then you would sort of out jog one and the other. And you would do this. Turn it face up, face down. That's it, right? So there would be some moment which makes it look like the magic happened, and now you get this really cool visual that they've linked, which does kind of look like they've linked, right? I don't know if anyone can see on the camera. But I remember somebody did that with hair ties. So if you got a hair
quite
tie,
cool.
it was a weird way of getting into it. But yeah, something like that. It would just kind of look linked, and you would do as like a visual unlink of them. Maybe you could do it with like some invisible thread.
Maybe.
You know, like the old like Nabil thing.
Yeah.
It was.
Interesting.
Michael's asked where can he buy some of the card gimmicks that we use.
I don't know really. I mean, most of the stuff we all make them and we teach them as well. So
Yeah, I'd say probably, to be fair, the best place you could probably look into is trying to build them yourself instead of trying to buy them. But obviously there's a few people like Hondo make the flaps and such. I don't think there's...
That's a good shout.
There's a lot of...
Hondo Chen, for anyone wondering.
Jeremy Hanrahan, I believe, makes a few really good gaffs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's his company? Hanrahan Gaff Co.
Yeah.
And he makes a lot of like Hofsenser cards and other things. But
Yeah.
what I've noticed like lately is that the gaff card sort of trend. Would you say? I don't know if that's the right word, but like it used to be you could buy loads of different types of gaff card magic, but it doesn't seem to be as much of a prominent thing anymore.
Yeah, 100%.
But there's some great gaff cards. Like Tom Elderfield's Space Time is a great like
Very
self-contained
true, yeah.
gaff card, and Twisted by Eric Jones, and off the back of that or predating that, Mark Mason has a bunch of gimmick card effects that you can buy. So he does JB Magic, or Mark. You probably know who Mark Mason is. He has a lot of card gimmick magic on his site, and it's amazing. Amazing.
It's interesting. We created a deck of gimmicked receipts yesterday.
Oh, go and get. Can you show some of the tricks?
Yes.
All right. This is how we roll in the Black Art Podcast.
Talk
Live.
amongst yourselves.
I'll explain what's going on. Well, Jake bought a receipt printer. So when we first got to the what do we call this house? We have to give it a name. So they can decide the name.
Yeah.
Everyone, if you decide the name for our like creative congress and the house that we're in, somebody's going to win a free set of my lecture notes. So come up with a name, vote amongst yourselves.
Can I vote? Is that an option?
Yeah. Do you have them?
No.
We've got
Oh yeah, I
people-
do. Yeah. I forgot. Sorry.
got comments that Jake is the younger version of you.
Of me?
Yeah, of you.
Younger version of me?
Younger version, yeah. I know.
He. Do you know what's annoying? He is younger than me. So they're right.
Let's get it right in this.
What are you trying to say? You're just absolutely right.
Ooh, Stu's brought up the fact that you said not long ago you're bringing out a new gaff deck.
Yes. Me and Craig Petty have finished a joint gaff deck, and it'll be out very, very soon. I would say within the next 3 months, maybe, depending on how long the print takes. But all the design is finished.
Rich Relish himself has asked if you've considered putting together a gimmick making kit, so craft knife, corner rounder, punch, elastic, thread, etc.
I have considered this, and actually, I think a few different. I think at one point, I think there was a Paul Harris gimmick making kit at one point. I think, right? And I know Sans Mine did a gimmick making kit, and it was something that I've always wanted to do, but ultimately, I think the interest is waning because more people would rather buy the gimmick than build it. But it's something I've definitely thought about numerous times over the years. You'd have elastic threads, magnets.
I believe you did, yeah. There was a few magnets in the kit and a few other little things.
I
remember that.
So these are the receipts that Jake and everyone here created, sort of thing. But yeah, we're hopefully going to show you some really cool visual stuff. And I guess you guys get to, if you're comfortable showing any of it.
I don't know if we're allowed to show all of it.
That's what she said. I'm so sorry.
There is some silly ones where it looks like you've signed the receipt, and then you can rip it up and restore it and have it in a jumbled up order. Obviously based on existing concepts with cards.
Have you got the one that I was hyped on? I try. Oh, have you got the BLU? I can say what it is.
Which one?
The one I was trying to do a force word on.
The one.
Oh, yeah.
Alright, so check this out. Oh my goodness.
There it is.
So I created this one, if you got the regular version of it too,
Yes.
with nowhere really to go with it other than a potential idea for forcing. So I'm not sure how close you can see. This is one of the receipts. Hold up to the camera, I don't know if you can see it. And then I made another one which had this, which is the same receipt, but everything's blurred, bar for one word. And the word is drink. So the idea would be I'd show them this receipt, and then I'd say, I want you to close your eyes, clear your mind, open your eyes again, and just think of one word that stands out to you. So as they would do that, I would just switch it to the blurred receipt, and I would hopefully try to get them to think of the word that they see, and the word would be, in this case, drink. Kind of a cool concept, but the times that we tried it, at least with us magicians, it didn't work.
I feel like the reason is because it's quite low down on the list, so people obviously go for the first thing they see and they're like, okay, let me look at this. So I think it would work a bit better if it was a bit higher up, but I don't think there's any issues with it. I do think it would.
And ironically, didn't you think of, what did you think of, Panini?
Yeah.
And he thought of Panini as well.
Yeah.
So I think if I chose a better word to keep clear and blur the rest, then potentially it could work.
Yeah.
But I just thought it was an interesting way of forcing something. It kind of like fuses the 100th monkey principle in with like a card, like a word force. But just to be able to show someone a receipt and say, hey, there's a bunch of items here. In a moment, I want you to close your eyes and think of one. Okay, do it now. Open your eyes. Sorry, and then. But just for anyone to see, that's kind of the direction of trying. The other one. Do you have the other force one?
Yes.
The other force one again didn't work when we tested it in house. But basically, I took the force word and I turned it upside down, with the idea being that I'd show someone this receipt, and then I would say, in a moment, I'm going to ask you to think of a word. And just remember what it is, and then I would just turn it the wrong way, so they couldn't literally read any other word except for the force word. But again, I think I chose the word drink, and really it should have been like panini.
Yeah.
So that's it, like this, and then the force word is drink, and it's upside down, and it kind of does look like a normal word anyway. So I should have picked a better one. But the idea about show it like this, turn it round, and then show it again, and this time it's upside down for a moment, and they wouldn't have long to look, and it would force the word. I'll try again, I think. But that's one thing we would try now.
I think it's worth trying. I think also because drink appears twice, it makes it like...
Yeah.
Hmm.
Do you have the one?
We got some.
Go on.
We got some suggestions for the house name. Magic Flop House.
Magic Thought House.
Flop.
Thought House. I like Thought House.
We're having creative thoughts.
The House of Black Art and Magic. V-neck House. 2 heads, 2 hats. House of Gimmick.
House
Two
of
heads,
Gimmicks.
two
Two
Magic's
heads.
Fabulous Four.
Does anyone like some of these ideas or the starting blocks of these ideas?
No, they're all awful.
Any thoughts to improve these ideas? Do any of you guys have any thoughts to improve think of a force method using essentially one receipt?
Other than moving it up, I wouldn't.
No.
I think you should still play with it, to be fair. If you move it up a slight bit, I think it'll probably work, to be honest.
Yeah, maybe more items on the receipt.
I don't know where the other one's gone.
It's probably in there. But we had another one which is a zigzag receipt. You pick an item and just zig the paper over, and it's literally zigzagged out. But we can't find that to show you. Not that any UK, so why worry about it? Why even talk about it? Why bother?
It's my new obsession though now, just
Also-
printing receipts.
Yeah. Nobody should be watching this, by the way, because it's literally a 30-degree day in the UK, which we never get. So I think you should all be outside. Probably why everyone is outside. What are the comments saying, Sam?
We've got support for the Thought House. Rich Relish has said to call it the gaff.
Oh, the gaff.
Actually, yeah, thinking about it, yeah, makes sense.
That's
Makes
good.
a
I
lot
was
of
wondering why then. I
Rich,
realised.
that's the best name.
Yeah.
In the UK, a name for a house is a gaff.
Yeah.
Gaff house. Oh, gaff gaff.
We've got a suggestion for angle-sensitive ink on the receipts.
Ooh.
You
Okay,
could show it that way and then tilt it that way, maybe.
that'd be good. Angle sensitive ink. I don't think I've heard of angle sensitive ink.
No.
Maybe it just means move one slightly over, so when you look at it, look straight on, and the rest don't. Maybe.
You know when you use a friction pen and it goes invisible, it kind of goes like white.
Yeah.
But and also a receipt, when you burn it, it goes black.
Yeah.
What happens if you put friction ink on top of a receipt? Would everything go black but apart from the white ink?
Small black hole forms.
Does it? I don't know.
I would
I'm
guess,
gullible. I'm like, yeah, okay. I'm
I
gonna
would
do
guess the
that.
friction ink would disappear first,
Mm.
and then the receipt would turn black.
Yeah. Well, I think what you're saying is like, is it going to contrast?
It's going to contrast,
Yeah,
but it
To
turned
the
white.
opposite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we have? Well, we do have a friction pen somewhere, but it's yonder far.
Yeah.
That table. But we're 15 minutes in, and I'm absolutely boiling off.
Yeah.
this could become a delirious disaster.
Chris James has asked if we can talk about how awesome I am, which I'm going to bring up because I think
Yeah.
that's really
We'll let you answer that
Yeah.
question.
cool. Thank you. We'll move on.
Smart idea. Very smart idea.
We'll move on.
Wait, no, I've just looked. This is Sam typing that question.
I just hacked into Chris James' account. Yeah, no. Alfie has said, could we? You could also take the final price on the receipt and like visually move it up.
Oh, that's nice. You could round up the change, so if it's like $29.95, you
Yeah.
could just shake it and become 30.
Oh yeah. Donate the penny to charity.
Yeah.
Oh.
Go on.
What were we
Go
going
on.
to say?
No, you go.
I was going to say,
Oh.
if it was like 99 pence, you'd take 1 pence and hit it against the receipt. And
But
then
it turns
turn
to
around.
I was going to say the opposite, which is it says 30, you fold it, pull a penny out
Ah,
to give in, but that works better probably.
either or. Options.
Plenty of options. Well, come on, read some comments out, Sam.
Yeah.
There's loads. I can see
Yeah.
them, but they're too far away to read.
Stu Batman, the House of Gaffs and Gimmicks.
That's good.
Delirious Disaster, name for the house.
The Gaff Cave. No, shoot me. I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
What does Iron Man call his house? It's like the opposite of that, basically.
Tony Stark's house.
Yeah.
So he starts Airbnb's house,
Yeah.
Debbie's house.
Don't give away the location. It's under a volcano.
Yeah. Can anyone guess where we are? Anyone that's not people I've told?
Send some ideas to us, or some questions. Get some of those in the chat.
Pardon?
Ideas or questions, send some of those through.
Send some of them.
Yeah, into the chat.
What do you mean?
What do you
Are
mean?
you talking to the people?
Yeah,
Or are you talking to us?
Oh, bloody hell, yeah. Sam, use your words, mate.
You're talking to them.
I'll read the comments out because you're not reading
Oh,
them.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Oh, everything. Hello, the best magicians in the world. And Lloyd.
Set me up.
Hi guys, good to see Jake Che Guevara looks still very much ongoing.
Yeah, I'm about to liberate a small country.
Someone's singing a song. Money back receipts. So you show front and back, shake it, and the amount on the receipt falls from it. Changing bills.
Oh, that's cool. Spicy to I'm too spicy, don't
Yeah.
stop. Hey, hey, bang, bang, I'm too spicy, yeah, spicy. Alright, cool.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
So great.
So that the viewers of
Yeah.
your channel have always got that informative, precise, just absolutely amazing comments. To be fair, it's better than what they're watching.
Yeah.
No, well, that's alright.
We also, with the receipt printer, you could print stickers, long stickers. And so we haven't even come up with anything with it yet, but it looks exactly like a festival wristband.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely want to do something with that. If anyone doesn't currently have an overheating brain and wants to send in an
Yeah.
idea, it kind of looks like a wristband.
Yeah, it legit looks like a festival wristband.
So you could do some kind of zigzag move because it's only using half the receipt, or you could give us a better idea so I can print it out later.
Well, you've put on there a card reveal already, right?
Yeah,
Um,
the most inspired idea.
well, does it print colour on there?
No, it doesn't. Sadly.
But could it print a strip of black?
Yeah.
I wonder what else you can get that's like a strip of black so you can make it look like it's linked on.
You could also just colour it in yourself.
Yeah.
I have 2 different colour stickers as well. So.
Oh, you could tip exit to add white on there.
Yeah.
Oh, is that? Oh, that's the thickness of it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting on its own. There's like a secret hidden layer to it because it could be blank like this. So you could say, have you ever seen these? This kind of looks like a ribbon of a present.
Does it?
Yeah, like a Thornton's chocolate.
Oh,
box,
okay,
you know
yeah.
what I mean? So you've got this,
Posh boy presents.
and then it could become your printed festival sticker. Then have a little
Oh,
yeah.
snap band or something.
Got someone saying to change the price, having like an ink that you can just rub off easy.
Yeah, you could have some dry wipe ink,
Yeah.
some acetate on your finger.
Transparent.
And if you had to show a kid, like a family member, a trick, what would be your go-to trick?
Elliot, what would you do?
Something really simple. Rubber bands, coins, something of that nature.
Could you do one right now to Sam?
Because I get
Yeah,
it.
come on, we put in
No,
one trick to Sam. You got a rubber band. You have to create a trick on the spot. You have a rubber band, a coin, but you can use a bottle of water if you want, and a deck of cards.
You literally put me on the spot. I don't know what I'm doing.
It doesn't have to be a creative trick. You can just perform a trick, but these are your given materials.
But when we do this, we absolutely love first drafts because you're allowed
Yeah.
to be awful.
Yeah,
Well, it is going
it
to be awful.
excuses it. Yeah,
Yeah, I wouldn't have an absolute Scooby where to go, to be honest. Because it'd have to be simple, so you'd have to use only 1 or 2 of the objects. Obviously, don't use all of them because then it complicates things, and you're like,
Yeah.
what am I looking at? Because there's so much information. But obviously, you putting this inside of the rubber band gave me an idea of almost like a portal or something.
okay.
So you use the rubber band as the portal, so as it goes into here, as it goes into
That's
there
cool.
somehow, and then you would kind of pull it through, and then it would happen in their hands or something. They'd hold onto a rubber band and in their
I
hands.
love that, using it as a... Do that, show everyone at home
I
what
don't
you
think
sort
I'm
of
going to be able to do it, to be honest, but I guess you'll kind of come maybe like this and do it or something. You go like through like
Where
that.
did it go? No. Whoa, hang on. I'm not even screwing up. Where did that go? I swear to you, I swear on my child's life, I don't know where the coin's gone.
But basically, then it will appear maybe in the
Hang on,
sides.
Am I
am I at the wrong angle or something?
I guess so.
How have I not seen this coin?
It'd be cool if you had another
Have you
rubber
lapped it?
band on top of here, and then you put it through.
Hang
Falls
on,
into the bottle.
I'm genuinely, I can't see where that coin's gone now. I'm not blowing smoke. I'm just at the wrong... Where is it?
It's gone. Went through the portal, didn't
Just
it?
leave it.
Anyway.
It's a mystery.
Leave it.
No, I said leave it as a mystery. But in the spectator's hands, maybe then you like grab it through there or something.
Where's it gone?
Rich said we are using receipts and an index.
Speaking
Yeah,
of
receipt index. Yeah.
say no more.
Cool.
Oh, yeah, no, I can't use book. So you got it.
Yeah, I'm the exact same.
Have someone choose a band and a day of the week, and then pull out of the wristband showing you saw that band on that day.
That's
Oh,
Very
that's
nice,
good.
yeah.
That's good.
First letters of each item on a receipt is a surprise influence reveal. That reminds me of
Like an acrostic.
show reel.
There's that coin. I don't know what I would do with this. What's the date? 1992. You could borrow a coin, peek the date, and then force ace 992.
True, actually.
You know, you could cull the ace, the 9, and the 2, and then do a 4-for-4 switch, and change them into the date of the
Yeah.
coin.
Do you think kids will care about that?
A kid would not care about
No,
that.
exactly.
They
that's
would
what I
care
was
about
gonna say.
portals.
Yeah.
Well, actually, if it's a kid, I would just teach them a rubber band gun.
Yeah, true.
Go
Very
go
true.
fetch. Sam, you do a lot of performing.
I do. I do the same kind of stuff for adults I do for kids. If I have a trick that I can do for adults, I try to make it also appeal to kids.
Right.
So if I do card stuff, I'll try just to do visual card stuff, or stuff where they can just simply follow the colour of the card. Instead
So
of
on the
card
spot
is.
performance then, there's imagine there's a 5-year-old here.
Right, well.
Say 5? I don't know, what would be an appropriate child age?
7.
For what?
7 to 9.
For
Performer.
what? Jesus!
Yeah, actually,
Depends what you're
talking
about. So let's say there's like a 5 to 10-year-old here.
Right. So I'm gonna take a black
Show
card.
the
I'm gonna
show the
take a
camera.
black card. If you could place your hand up for me, I'm gonna give you the black card. If you could place your hand on top of it for me, keep around that card. Jake, if you could place your hand up for me, I'm gonna give you a card. I'm gonna give you a red card. Alright, this
Show
one's got a
everyone at
picture.
home.
This one's got a picture, so it should be nice and easy to remember for you. I'll place that one just there.
Picture
Place your hand on
hearts.
top for me. Watch. Have you got a favourite toy?
Yes.
What's your favourite toy?
I can't say on a YouTube live stream.
What's your second favourite toy?
For argument's sake, my Batman figurine.
Your Batman figurine.
Mhm.
Amazing. What I want you to do is I want you to imagine your Batman figurine shrinks down to the size of an ant.
Okay.
It shrinks down and it crawls in between your hands. What it does, it grabs that card.
Mm.
It grabs it, it's going to jump out with that card. You're not going to feel it though because it shrunk the card down as well.
Okay.
It's going to jump across into Lloyd's hand,
Mm-hmm.
and in Lloyd's hand he's going to place the card and bring back Lloyd's card into your hand. Do you believe anything that I just said?
Yes.
You sure?
I know what I was saying. Yes.
I'm going to let go inside of your hands.
Jesus Christ.
I know. It's incredible.
The man's only gonna done it.
And I got the Jack of Hearts.
So have I.
What about Lloyd's favourite toy?
Oh, I've got a NECA replica Leonardo movie turtle. I got the full set. That's my favourite toy.
Nice.
Liam's a new guy when it comes to magic and receipts, but he said, how about we apply the age cards principle to them?
It's been a big controversy online about that recent times because a few people have done it. Craig Petty released Receipt and it was a best-selling product.
I don't believe that Liam Lebanon is a new
No,
guy.
I think it was that. I think it was
Oh,
that.
it's Liam Lebanon.
Yeah.
Liam. Liam's a genius.
he is.
Liam is a genius. So Jake, putting you on the spot. You've just performed for a lot of family and friends.
I have.
So I guess you get to show a trick.
What type of trick?
A trick you would do to a young man, like Sam.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't perform card magic.
Throw the cards away.
Definitely not to kids.
True.
Something else for that.
I don't perform to kids.
Okay, a 10-year-old.
Whatsoever.
He runs away in the opposite direction.
Uncle Jake, I'm not going to live very long because I'm terminally ill. Please show me a trick.
And if it is, it's literally that.
That's crap.
I have never had a child say that. They say, wow, that's amazing.
That's because you've never done magic.
Exactly. This isn't a joke whatsoever, but I actually did Beyond Reformed to a kid.
Did you?
And he really liked
Your
it.
trick.
Miracle.
Do you have that here? Could you perform it?
I don't have it right now. No. No, I won't be able to. Actually, I
Go
don't think
on.
they're open. That's what I'm saying. I don't think it's open.
What's the comment saying on the stream?
We've got someone asking. George is asking whether we're in prison.
We may be in prison.
Nah,
It definitely
Kind of
feels
looks
like
like
it
it.
right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like it, feels like it.
Courtyard.
it's like, have you ever seen Borstal?
Yeah.
So someone's got Elsie's got an idea where someone picks out one coin out of a set and the others have the numbers of the picked coin's year written on them.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And Avatar has asked, what is the trick that every time you show everybody, they ask you to do it again?
Good one. What's yours? The trick that everybody wants you to repeat.
2-card transposition, probably. That's the one that everyone's like, oh well, I must have missed something, so I need to see it again. That's probably.
Especially if it's like, keep your hands down on it,
Yeah,
make
yeah.
sure that it's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, you're not going to get it this time.
Yeah.
In that scenario, when someone says "do that again," do you ever get people trying to peek at the card?
Oh yeah, 100%.
How do you
Yeah.
prevent that from happening?
Well, to be fair, it's a difficult situation because if they want that to happen, anything you do to kind of stop that, most of the time they'll pull away or they'll do something a bit funny. So you can control it, but it depends on person to person. Because usually if you place your hand over it and you just kind of draw their attention away, or you bring the deck towards someone else and get them to do it as you place your hand over, then people will forget. But it depends, because people are going to always want to do it if they...
I'm just thinking that you could like create an effect that entices them to look at it. So say for example the cards were mispicked, so it says like a 2 of hearts here and a 3 of clubs in this corner. So you say, so I'm doing it a second time in this scenario, and you actually have a quick peek, make sure it's still there. You do it. Maybe they reveal it over here so that you can grab this corner and show it's now a 3.
Yeah.
So that moment of getting them to think that they got the choice to peek could really throw.
It would
them.
have to be a half and half card though, because if they peek, they'll instantly see that. They'll instantly see that pin.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true. Usually they have to be very tight on it. That would be the only issue, but yeah.
I would probably say Omnideck for me, because people feel like they want to see it change back and change back to the Omnideck again.
Oh.
So they're asking it so they get, not so they can see the Omnideck again, but so they can see how the deck goes back to the cards.
Have you done that? Have you made that happen?
No.
Yeah, you
Miracle.
I've got another
You're a
table
jobber
thing.
magician.
I've got another table thing,
yeah.
man. I need to get to the table. I got to.
Do you know? Oh,
It's changing it back on the offbeat is the best when they think that it's still in the box.
I need to make a gaff card, which is it looks like the Omni deck on top of it. So you put it on top of the deck like this, and it looks kind of clear for a minute. So you like hold your hands back out, you can see through.
Oh,
And it's back to the
really
deck.
Nice.
That's fun.
That's funny.
Right. Don't steal that, anyone. We're live on the stream. It's going in mine and Craig's deck. Is that Tickety I can see there?
Yeah, Tickety.
Yo,
Hi,
Tickety, how's it
everyone.
going?
Are you guys in a garage? We're in a prison.
I'm not sure what we're in. It's kind of like an extension on a house
Yeah.
that we're at.
Rich has asked, what our favourite wrong guess at a method that a spectator has said?
Ooh.
I think he's a thinker.
Jake's struggling to read. Jake, what's yours? Actually, you didn't answer.
Same screens by that.
I was laughing about every time writing me doing Cigadex to a kid. Right, what was the question? Sorry.
But then, first of all, you didn't answer the last question, which is what is the trick that people always ask you to repeat?
It's usually like a name divination. Can you do that on my friend? Or honestly, 2 cards, and you just milk it for like 3 or 4 times. The second time when I do it, I will make sure it's on a table and not in their hands.
Yeah.
Because I feel if it's in their hands, they're more likely to try and look. If it's on a table, I emphasise the fact that they've got to make sure this time it's not going
that's
anywhere.
smart.
So it's like, so when it's on the table, I'll have hold of it and say, honestly, like, keep your hands on it. There's no way anyone else is getting to it, and just make sure there's no way that they look at it.
Very
But,
smart.
Yeah.
Takes away that option of them peeking then.
I don't even do card stuff that often, but it's still probably
Well,
one
yeah,
that's
but what
requested.
about when you do perform, which is mentalism, right? Like it's
Well, barely. Yeah.
for me, it's always Crazy Man's handcuffs.
Makes sense.
Everyone always has to see that, and that's why I have a 3-phase version, only in the spectator's hands, all phases, and the 3rd phase is designed to like roadhouse kick them, rip their throat out style. The last phase. Actually, do we have a band spare?
Jesus.
I could go look in the room.
I don't know. I used to have some. I'll go and grab one. You ask the next question. I'll go grab one.
What is your favourite wrong guess at a method that a spectator has said?
I wish that I'd written these down.
Yeah, I was going to say, people come up with some of the most convoluted methods though.
Yeah.
People will assume
Yeah.
you've got like printers hidden in your jacket just because you've predicted one word that was written here.
Sometimes I like leaning into their expectations of how it happened. If it's a name divination or anything like that, and if it's a billet peak that's used, whether it's in a wallet or just a move, I love listening to people go, well, there's something in the pen, there's a transmitter, there's something in the wallet. And just slowly, each time someone suggests something, eliminating it by using a different method.
Yeah.
So it goes from wallet peaks to moves to a centre tier to just like an outright guess. But it's slowly making your way through and eliminating each wrong guess. Is
I
so
feel like
good.
it doesn't happen as much when it comes to false methods and like what people assume it's going to be in magic, is like it's not that often. In mentalism they use
maybe.
like they assume it's a bunch of tech
Yeah,
and all kinds
yeah.
of other things, like how are you possibly reading my mind? That's not possible, so it must be the pen. So with magic it's like we all kind of know there's something going on, but we can't really tell. Is he just using sleight of hand or yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point actually. But I wish I'd kept like a notebook of the best wrong guesses because some of them are
Smart
insane.
Idea. Yeah, smart idea.
It's like you're looking at the reflection in the guy's sunglasses like 20 feet behind me. Yes, please, because that's more impressive than the peak.
I've got Spider-Man vision.
Then
My
just develop on it, just build on it, and just make something insane of it.
My favourite, someone thought the playing card was actually just a screen, and I could change what was the face of the playing card.
I've had that. Yeah,
Yeah,
special inks is always a transpo tricks or colour changes is always a special one. There's always a special inks answer or guess.
Yeah.
But when you tell them they can keep the card, it's always like instantly dismissed. It seems from their head. I can show you I can show everyone what I mean with the crazy man thing if you want now. I don't think I've ever been able to show it before. So I would do. There's literally a bird on the roof. No joking, it's just on the roof.
The roof's open as well. You could full on just come
It's
right
clear.
through.
It's a clear ceiling above us. It's
Not chickens.
not chicken on the roof.
I can't
The
tell.
dangers of live broadcasting.
You never work with children or animals.
Yeah.
So,
I didn't even have to look to know you were looking at me.
so Jake, could you help me with this, please?
I can, yes.
Could you point your fingers together
Ooh, ooh, style.
and then just and then just touch the tips? No, could you hook them over?
Yes.
I don't know. Can everyone see? Maybe we need to move this a little bit for the time being. What I'm
I
going to
think
do is, and then can everyone see now? Do I move it into shot?
I think so.
Maybe we'll move it way over here. Can you all still see?
Yeah, you should be able
And I
to.
want you to
now.
place your thumbs on top.
Yes.
Is that good?
It's good.
Alright, so what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to do it inverted or horizontal to your vertical, vertical to your horizontal.
Yes.
You can see it's stuck. Now, the reason we put your thumbs on it so I can't get through the tops, bottoms, sides, middles, whatever. You just tell me where to stop.
Where?
There.
Yes.
You'll see that it went through, right? So everyone, lay people at this point, are like, do it again.
Yeah.
Like, okay, we'll do it again really quick. We'll place it through. You can see it's stuck and it doesn't come through the sides. So you just tell me to stop anytime you want. You can stretch it further.
When?
There. And it comes through. And this point, people are like, oh, I was looking really close. And I'll say, it's okay, you can let go now. I'll let the effect finish. So I let it stop for a minute and people will be discussing. Because I've given it to them twice. This actually, we'll do it one more time this time. Place your fingers back in position. I've linked them all ready for you. And I don't make a big deal of this.
Yeah.
You put your thumbs on top. Actually, could you come over and hook your fingers around the other band? Like that? Perfect. And then you guys are both going to do the magic. But come in closer and look. I know you can see that it looks like they're almost weaved over each other.
Yeah.
Right? So bring your fingers closer and closer and closer and closer and closer and closer and closer. I'm going to move away. Let that band roll off your fingers. And as you do it, roll your fingers together for me. All of them. And watch. 3, 2, 1. Open your hands. And they just don't know the direction that it goes in. They're not expecting it at all. And I draw attention to the crossed over bit. I say I always point. You can see that it looks like they're interweaved, and so they look. That gets everyone to come in like really close. So they're waiting for it to unlink, and suddenly it's gone, and you're not even touching their hands. Like it's a really crazy moment. So that's how I do the third phase of Crazy Man's, because I want them to ask me to repeat it.
I love the moment where it's in both of the spectators' hands. I never expected that. I've never seen that before.
Thanks, man.
And the sort of justification of where is really nice as well. Instead of just being there and then pull through, it's like telling me when, which is really nice. But
yeah, they feel like they have some sort of control over the outcome of it, and it could have been different every time.
The bird is the true special guest on the podcast.
yeah, very true.
The bird is the Pidgeotto. Gotta
Gotta
catch
give it a name.
Jamal.
Yeah.
Gotta catch Jamal.
Elliot's stretching card colour change is something that George watched over and over and over again.
Oh, do you have it here?
No, unfortunately not. No.
I can see Andrew Niner is in the chat.
How's he going with
Andrew, you're a living genius, and we need to talk. I have some news for you. Good news, I think.
Let's have a look. What's our favourite coin trick to do?
Which way should we go? Inwards
Go
or
this
out?
way.
I don't do coin magic, so don't
You
give
don't do
me.
any coin stuff?
I
You
don't.
haven't. You brought 4 coins in
Yeah.
the bag.
And I don't do them.
No, child's pillowcase. What do you do?
I like same as you. I like coin and ball.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good one. Keep it basic with method.
Yeah. Yeah.
What about you?
primary movements, Ben L. That's a big one for me, and a lot of Gregory Wilson's hitch and ditch stuff. That's very nice. But if it's going to be like a larger routine, stuff like Eric Jones's work, his 4-coin routine, very giggy magic as well.
Is it?
I'm into that type of stuff because it's long and it feels like everyone's involved, and instead of it being just you and you're holding the coins the entire time, I'm not really into that type of feeling. But yeah, what about yourself?
I do singular coin vanishes, and I'll load the coin in a few places. I mean, depends how prepared I am. My favourite coin trick to do to completely like just ruin someone's perception of reality. So it's a basic trick. I'm not like picking up too much, but one that I feel like can conjure up like real, almost like belief is preload for the UK it's 10 pences.
Yeah.
So I preload like one under someone's watch normally, or in their pocket or bag or whatever it's going to be, and then I bring out it's called a coin unique over here. It's like a Scotch and soda in America. So it's a lock-in copper and silver coin. And you can get them on eBay for like £10-12. They're really cheap.
Yeah.
But the ones that are on eBay for some reason are like made perfect, like absolutely perfect. And it's probably like one of the only gaffs in the world that I 100% trust to be examined.
And you lose quite a
and
lot.
lose quite a lot. and all I do is I take the copper coin and the silver coin, and I hold them so the shell obviously is dislodged, and then I just say name either coin for me to do the effect with, and it doesn't matter what they name. I say watch, okay, whatever you name. I watch. I say slowly. I say watch. As I do, I slide the silver coin into the copper shell, and then it locks. So it looks like it's gone. I very cleanly show that it's vanished. And you pretty much can't get a cleaner, more impossible vanish in all of Magic than that exact vanish. It's pretty much one for one. Like it's hard to think of a better vanish than that.
Yeah.
But it's just here right. I say watch. I turn it around slowly. I say hold that hand out, the opposite hand to their watch, and I just drop it in. And at this moment, like, I let that simmer for a while because it's... Don't forget, we know so much about Magic, but they've just watched a coin visually vanish, and there's no explanation. And then I just say watch.
Yeah.
And now that finishes the effect off. The coin is now under their watch, and it's too basic for us to like ever consider like showing other magicians or even making a product. But in the real world, like that is religion started Magic. And it's basic. You can get it for $10 on eBay. And if you don't want to do coin under the watch, I just put it under their coaster on the table.
True, actually, yeah.
You know.
Editor has problems getting the attention back on the blue card at the end of Chicago Opener. But I guess you could turn that into if you got any tips or variations of the Chicago Opener.
I don't do it very often.
Yeah.
I think. Do you?
Same. No.
Do you?
No.
So what's the issue?
So he finds it awkward getting the attention back to the blue card at the end of the Chicago Opener.
In what context? Like, okay, now look over here, it's changed back to your...
I assume it's maybe because he's like, oh, well, it's a blue card. And obviously, you go, your card's going to turn blue. Oh, it's not in here. All of a sudden, it's the one that was here. And that beat may be awkward, or maybe now going, oh, well, it must have been here, and bringing the attention back that way. It could be either of those moments, like spreading through, or it being here. Change that moment, maybe.
Yeah, well, the first thing that comes to my head is to draw attention to it. So, literally, say before we begin, I took a photo of myself holding a blue card. But I took this photo last week, and you can see I'm standing in a place where a certain thing happened, so it has to be that week. And that's it. Just start by showing that photo, and then keep the routine the same. But it sort of adds like a credence, because this ends up signed, right, in Chicago Opener?
I'm not too sure.
I'm pretty sure this ends up signed.
In a few versions, I think so.
In most of them, right? So it could not be possible for you to be holding that card. Or something that like frames it.
I was going to say, interestingly enough, though, if you're taking a picture of you holding this, I guess you could recall that moment and you mention it. And then it would make sense for you to be holding the object in the same pose, and then it makes sense as to why this is less awkward now, because it isn't the only blue card in here. You go spread through, it's not there, because this was the only blue card, and then it frames it like you're saying. For sure.
What is the effect?
It's basically that you can get a card to turn blue, and then you...
get another card selected, and then...
I have a version
that
on
one
my
just moves
Patreon.
around, but it's the same card.
You have two King of Hearts, right? a red and blue one. This is a red deck. The blue on the bottom, isn't it? You riffle force it, say remember. Lose it in the deck. Oh no, that's the second part, right? So you have any card selected.
Yeah.
So they select this card.
And you double it with the blue.
Gets lost into the deck.
Yeah.
So in this case, the ace of spades selected. That goes on top. You spread through the say is one blue card. That's the your card. The ace of spades goes over here. So that can't be signed then, right?
Yeah, and then you'd have the king where you just put
Now you force this card. Say remember this king of hearts. It's gone. Or it becomes ace of spades maybe.
It becomes blue, but then
that's the idea.
spread through and
it becomes blue.
it's
Oh,
not
right.
blue, and then that's the
Yeah. It can be signed then.
Yeah.
No, because it's just the first part.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, the ace.
No, it can't really be signed because it's a dupe that at the end.
Yeah.
unless they pick
But
this
obviously
card.
you
Say,
can
They won't want to.
sign this
They won't
card,
want to keep
now
the ace anyway. So
we'll lose the card in the deck. Spread through. There's one blue card, which is actually the assigned card, but maybe you come back to that later. Now you have a second card signed, selected. That is then the blue one. No, right, that's a terrible move. Right, so now they think they got another selected card here. Now that will switch to the signed blue card from earlier, and the other one is clean.
That would be more like a prediction. What you're doing there seems a bit like all in one.
Yeah,
and
true.
if you've changed it, then all of a sudden it is the card. It gets a bit messy during the middle. So I feel like if you did that with one card on the table from the beginning, it would kind of clear up that bit.
Yeah, true.
that's an interesting one. Liam's asked, if you were performing to a crowd entirely composed of stooges, what effects would you choose to perform?
We spoke about something like that like 2 episodes ago, where it was to do with text messages.
Yes, the whole audience would be stooged, was it? Bar one person?
It was like numbers flash up on the screen, and it's everyone texts a question to one of these numbers, but it was like 9 of them were stooges, and one of them was actually one of the.
Yeah, that was kind of cool.
And it was so you could kind of like roll through a bunch of different predictions, and I can't actually remember what methods we discussed. It was a presentation, and kind of.
You had a good story years ago, which was a grandfather would have to look after his 3 grandsons for the day, and they were all like quite misbehaved. So what he did, it's on the way out the door, he pulled one to the side and he said, "Look, you're my favourite. I want you to keep the other 2 in check for the day." Because they respect you and they'll listen to you and we won't have a crazy day. And they went off and all the kids were so well behaved, they had a really good day. And years later, after he died, they all disclosed that he actually pulled all 3 of them to the side at one point and told them all the same thing and said, "You're my favourite, I want you to be well behaved and keep the other guys in check." So they all thought they were they were the important one, keeping them in check, and it worked. And it makes me wonder, like with making all the audience stooges, if you say, "Look, you're the only stooge in this audience. Everyone else is going to be thinking of random numbers, but you tell every audience member that they're the only stooge, and then so they think that I've got one up because I know the outcome, and then when they try to rework whatever the effect is, they realise that no way it could have been done. So they all get the maybe you tell them all that they're all the stooge. They all have to think of the seven of hearts, and it goes wrong. So they all think they've screwed up. You know,
That's just evil.
Yeah,
It's like-
but then it's salvaged.
Yeah. Andrew's curious about what your creative process looks like.
I think it's a bit too long to go over creative processes in something like this. It's like it's one of those things you have to sit down for an hour with someone and go, "This is what it is," and go from there. But
there's pie charts and graphs and
write it all down, present it as
no, but it's I notice people love to brush over stuff like that, and it's a very big topic, and it's something that's really important, obviously.
Is there any one thing like so I quite often talk about, for me, one of the first things I do when I think of an effect, just as like a beginning thing, generally is I'll mentally or literally write down a list of the first 10 methods that come to mind, and they are off the table. Because if I'm thinking of them first, everyone else thinking of them. So do you have any like initial tip or thing that you sometimes look at it and go, right, well the first thing is...
Yes. So it depends, obviously method versus effect, but if I'm going purely like visual, I'll usually, to be fair actually it works both ways, but usually it's based on like the first visual thing I could do. So for instance, if I see a phone, I'll look at the circles on the phone where the camera lens are, the basic shapes of it, break it down to its basic forms, break it down to its basic sort of shapes, and then build an effect off of that. What if you could move the camera all the way up to here, then rotate it, stuff like that, and usually then it ends up getting to a bit more nuanced, bit more of a nuanced place, which would be like white space and using all of this space. And if you were to stick a sticker on there, what methods would be different than something where it would be like a blank piece of paper or whatever. So yeah, that's kind of the idea. So it's using basic shapes.
That's cool.
white
I've noticed
spaces.
that you like post a lot of like abstract art
Yeah,
and stuff like that,
yeah,
based on shapes.
yeah.
Even even your Beyond Reform box is all based on like shapes, and so it looks like Fibonacci's.
Yeah, it's
I mean, look at the tattoos you've got.
yeah, it's very, very
Shapes.
samey, because I'm interested by sort of nature versus man-made objects and how you can kind of combine the two and what properties they have that can help you with effects and methods and stuff like that. But yeah,
It's beautiful, man.
thank you.
Miko's asked, can you turn one card over in the deck using just one hand?
You
Oh,
can-
let's have a competition to see who
off,
can do
off
it.
the top,
Done,
easy. But
done. Off the top, yeah.
yeah, but maybe
Yeah,
maybe
from the middle.
maybe
I've done it. Well, there's Chris Powers' move. That's what I was going to reference.
Yeah.
Chris Powers is down by the side. I won't obviously go into it.
Isn't it the
But
flipping
Chris
move?
is-
Ah, I
Chris,
can't
Chris is
This
the-
heat has got me.
There's a lot easier ways to do it without a flip. But could you turn a card over and keep it in the middle?
I was in
Oh,
from the middle.
From the
into
middle into the middle, like you could kind of do it in the middle of a Charlier like that, but that's quite messy.
Yeah.
From the middle. Oh, just to reverse it in the middle.
Yeah. That's
First one to do it gets an ice cream. Jake's last ice cream.
I think he has it.
I already ate that.
I'm going with ice cream.
I was going to say, if you could kind
There
of
you go,
pick
do it.
this out. Oh,
Did you? No, you didn't. Do it again. We weren't. No,
Well,
yeah,
that doesn't prove
that's
it.
not prove you did it. That's just,
Rewind the footage.
no, we can't.
Rewind this live.
We'll rewind our lives. Right, do it then. Oh, he did.
What did he do?
If
I don't know, but he gets the ice cream.
I get my own ice cream.
It's your ice cream.
I'm more interested.
If you keep the pressure, I don't know how I'm going to show this one because if you keep the pressure against, if you use these two fingers to hold the deck up like that, and then use
okay.
this pressure that you put and you push.
And then you just.
Once
yeah.
you get it over kind of there,
Yeah.
you can push that to push it back.
I've got
into
little
it.
tiny childlike hands.
Yeah, so if you just got to use those fingers to keep it up while you kind of get this
Yeah.
card there, then you can drop it and use that card.
Yeah. Very clunky method. But it
I don't know
works.
if that didn't come across well.
Sam,
on
name a
camera.
card.
King of Hearts.
And another
King
one.
of-
And another one. King of Hearts.
And another one.
7 of Hearts.
I don't even
Correct.
know.
Correct.
Would have been a mirror.
I'm so covered in playing that. Anyway, any final questions? We're coming up to nearly an hour. I'm trying to read some of the comments.
I thought we were going to have like 20 minutes at the end where Sam can do his thumb cuffs performance for everyone live.
I once saw a lecture by Blaze Sarah where he managed to do a version of /Invisible Deck by turning over a card from the middle and putting it back in using just his ring and his pinky fingers.
Oh yeah, Blaze is on another.
Yeah,
Blaze
Blaze
Ceres
is-
is on another planet. I can't do that stuff, man. What's the question for it?
I was just
I
reading
assume
out
that
the
was just
Yeah.
comments.
someone referencing it.
Can you do the Blaze Ceres? I can't do it.
Haven't got any.
Impossible.
Hello. Haven't got any more questions at all.
Brendan, well, you should read out some comments.
Yeah, Brendan got here late. It's really interesting to see us all together. There was actually a study done that showed that something wasn't actually true and that an audience member's gaze could just go where it wants. Don't know what that's referencing.
So, if I remember correctly, there was a study that was done that showed that wasn't actually true. And an audience member's gaze can just go where it wants. This is from Alki. I once saw a lecture by Blaze Sarah. Okay, I think this is in reference to the Psychology of Magic book that just came out, maybe, because there was a section in that where the writer of the book, or one of the two writers of the book, and I forget the gentleman's name off the top of my head, he does a cups and balls routine, and he used eye tracking technology in the university where he does the research, and he always thought that his final load for the cups and balls was invisible, and the eye tracking technology revealed to him that actually when it was happening they were looking straight at the load quite often. But I might be paraphrasing here, but even so, I don't know if any of you have noticed this. that perform more frequently than me, but I've absolutely noticed that I can have spectators stare straight at something or the moment of misdirection, and they do not acknowledge what's happening.
Yeah, very very true.
That happens so many times, you know.
Yeah.
Where like I can literally like show my hand empty, and they still think there's a coin there.
Yeah.
Or you can put a bent coin in someone's hand, and they stare at it. They know it's not the right thing, but they can't acknowledge why it would be different. So they're like, "Yep, I've got it."
I'd assume it's probably because of conviction. If you're acting like something is there and you 100% draw your attention to it, your body language relaxes. They're paying attention to it, but they're like kind of watching you partially, less than just like if someone's intensely watching, it's a bit different. But like feel like casually watching like a hand move, you're not gonna go instantly, oh, that he doesn't have that coin, even if it's not.
Yeah,
you don't show it.
Exactly. There's so much more than just seeing. Just seeing or catching the move.
Yeah.
It's everything around it, like the tension, the relaxation, like you said, your conviction, even your eye movement. Like it's like some of the basic fundamentals of coin magic is when you put a coin in your hand, follow it there until it goes. And so many magicians go. You know.
Eviatar has asked, what was the trick you talked about a long time ago that Liam Lebanon showed?
The one we can't talk about.
Yeah.
Because it's not ours to talk about, but it's great.
Yeah.
Liam,
it's incredible.
I'm sure you're Israeli as well, right? So show Eviatar your trick because he keeps asking about it. Friendship is born.
What kind of trick / combination would you pick for a 15 to 20 minute performance, something like a birthday party or gathering?
One trick.
No, like a 15 to 20 minute set for a birthday party or gathering. Ion 1023.
It depends if you want a variety of things. If you want a variety of things, you obviously have to mention that. But like, if it's just card effects, there's a lot of card effects out there. Like, go through half of the plots and you'd be able to fit a 15-minute set in quite easily. And 15 minutes as a performer goes over extremely quickly because you have people moving, standing up, sitting down, and when all of that's going on, like, you can kind of divert, time and such, and make it a longer thing. So it depends. But yeah,
I would say it's like, for me, it's like surroundings dependent. So
if
there's a birthday party at someone's house, I'm going all out. If I'm going to do a set, I'm going to be loading a pre-torn card in a balloon.
Yeah.
I'm going to be altering one of the photos in the album. I am planting a book test on the shelf.
Wouldn't do that.
I'm taking some stuff. I'm taking I'm going to plant cards under the carpet. I'd maybe load up some healed and sealed in the trash. I've done that quite a lot of parties, healed and sealed. All these different things, and then for the 20-minute set you could go through the motions of that, and then I'd probably do some sort of big reveal, like a confab with a time date using like a toxic force and things. That's genuinely what I would do.
That's an hour set right there. That's crazy.
Yeah,
I would take
ripping it,
What audience size did he ask about?
So it was just a birthday party
Oh,
gathering.
right, okay.
Yeah, so probably around 20 people or so.
Yeah.
I would take the first letters of everyone's name at the party and see what words or word I can make from it. No, genuinely, right? If you know everyone that's going, then take the first 20 letters of everyone's names, put it into an ambergram generator. Maybe you get a 2-phrase word that kind of makes sense in a relative way to whatever the occasion or the theme of the party is. Put those words into digital force bag or a blank deck of cards. Force them on 2 people at the party. Reveal them, get a big round of applause, and then maybe you reveal them with script text number. And then you say, but there's one more thing. Did you notice this? And then you stand. Maybe you say look, whose name begins with a B? Stand there. Da, 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 and they realise they all stand in a line. And eventually, I'd say, thanks very much. Adam Lloyd. I'll see you all at the next funeral. Peace.
Morbid was talking about when you're saying the audience looks where you do.
Yeah.
That the study was not proven that, but I don't think it's about knowing where they look. It's about you acting as though it is there.
I see what you mean.
Yeah, so it's not because if you look there, it's not about that they're also going to look there, but you're acting as though it's there.
Yeah.
If you act as though it's here, it's going to be a lot more convincing. It's not where they're going to look, but it's going to be more convincing that it is still here.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. No, he's absolutely right in what he's saying. And I think it covers part of that later on in that book as well. But yeah, they will. There's nothing you can really do to stop them looking exactly where you want to, but it's more about the reasoning and the conviction around it. So you even though they may not follow your eye, doesn't mean you should stop looking at where the coin is or where the coin is. You still have to have all those beliefs in it, right? and then feel the weight of it, everything that makes it become like 3D in their mind. But yeah, fair point.
Alex asked this one earlier, so I'm going to jump to this one. What's your best comeback to a heckler? I don't know. I've got an opinion.
What's the question? What's the heckler?
What's your best comeback to a
well.
heckler?
In general?
Yeah, in general. I've got like a kind of opinion on it.
Same.
Yeah.
So I think that the best comebacks to hecklers are ones that fit the situation. You've got people like Jimmy Carr, who it's fair to say that they've pre-written some jokes that they can throw at hecklers directly if it does occur. But I feel like the best ones come in the spirit of the situation. So if I was to tell you some of the situations that I've come back at a heckler, it wouldn't make that much sense to you because you haven't got, you as a person haven't got the same sense of humour or dynamic as the group. But finding a comeback that can fit that dynamic in the situation, I feel they're the best ones.
Yeah.
There's the standard lines, which is like, can you make my wife disappear? And you're like, yeah, give me a rope and a knife. Or carry on talking like that and you'll do it yourself.
Yeah.
$5,000 and a bit.
I'll tell a funny story about a heckle with magician. Not a heckle, but it was a funny comeback. I was having dinner with Adam Lloyd and a bunch of people in America, and he said something. No, it's not. It's relative to the story.
Yeah.
And he said, and excuse my like dirty reference in a way. He was on about I call my thing magic. And it was the one time, like every now and then you get like a perfect baseball hit. It was that one fast comeback that I've like just never topped. And so he went, no, I call my thingy, I call it magic. And without missing a beat, I went, I call mine magician because it's longer. I felt like I was like, thank you, I'll be here all week.
Yeah. I used to really, really hate any kind of heckling purely because it would just throw me off completely. And I think I've kind of tried to move a little bit more towards the kind of kill it with kindness thing.
Yeah.
Because if someone's heckling, it's because they're insecure and they want the attention.
Yeah.
You say, okay, well, what do you want to see? You've obviously already seen that before, or you don't believe that. What's going to help you right now?
Let me ask you this: at the recently you performed for a bunch of friends and family at a certain event. We talked about it, so it was a funeral. Yeah. Let me ask you this: I'm guessing I know the answer. Did you get heckled when you performed that day?
By people who weren't at the funeral, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And when they watched you do magic, did they come over and just join in and then ask you to show them?
Yeah.
So, the people that asked you directly to show you magic, did they heckle you?
It's weird because it depends what your definition of heckling is. Because if someone's a little bit drunk, they're not necessarily heckling. They're trying to have their own show.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, I'm going to do this performance for you now. There's palm reading, there's tarot, blah blah blah. I don't believe in palm reading. It's like, okay, that's nice. We're not going to do that then. Like, someone else is having their own show. They're not necessarily doing it in a horrible way. It's because they're trying to have a laugh and maybe they're a bit misguided with their approach.
Right, I'm with you. Well, the only reason I bring that up is because I spoke about this a few times, is that I don't get heckled. Yeah. Like, just point blank, don't get heckled. And it's purely because of a byproduct of what I learned from sort of Greg Wilson did, or taught at a lecture, which is if you go somewhere and you're intended on showing magic, you say to somebody new, nice to meet you, what do you do for a living? They say, I'm an accountant. And you stay quiet, and then they have to eventually go, what do you do for a living? You say, I'm a magician. And the next question is always, show me a trick. And now Greg goes off to say, like, Greg goes off and shows that he's prepared with a bunch of seemingly impromptu tricks, and it like blows him away. But what I found from doing that was, it did two things. A, because I never like to approach people to say, can I show you a trick? And because I don't gig, it was hard to do that. So A, it would give me an out to perform, or an in to perform. But what I realised was that I would always turn people, I'd get them to ask me to show a trick, and then I'd say no. Yeah. And then no again, next time, I'll go on then. Well, if you've ever asked somebody to help you like move furniture, have you ever had the audacity to heckle that person? Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I get people basically to beg me to do magic, and there's no way on this earth, unless they're up to this point in my life, nobody ever heckles me because I'm doing them a favour and they really requested it. And it's a beautiful position to be in because I can be a lot more...
And it makes the effect that you've already set up way stronger because if you didn't want to do the trick, why is there a card hidden over there somewhere?
Oh, dude, in my local bar, when I used to drink, I used to put a crappy old horrible beaten up like
Yeah.
holiday deck of cards in stack on the bar. The bar staff knew I did magic. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing anything. No, I'm not doing it. Even if I did, I hadn't even got any of the cards on me. They'd wait. Somebody would go, I bet they've got one behind the bar.
Yeah.
I say, oh, don't get them if they have. They come, they bring them over, and they would set up in mnemonica. And literally, take them under the table, cut them, complete them, take one, put it in your pocket. Then I would just like psych force it on someone, whoever it is, or reveal it. Like, yeah.
Magic context wise, I would say that Eric Leclerc has some of the best. So Eric has a system. He taught it in his at the table lecture I saw. It was really, really good. He has a whole way of basically kind of turning a heckle into a magic effect, and it's beautiful. So if anyone's interested, it's on his at the table lecture, and I do think people should look at it. It's a hidden gem for sure. And there's a few other things on there because obviously he's great. So, but yeah, no,
He's incredible.
Yeah.
We were talking about him earlier, where literally just looking through a random 16-year-old genie magazine and found this effect of his called rubberband. It's brilliant.
Really?
Yeah. Where a razor turns into a matchbook.
Yeah,
It's
really
so good.
That is good.
Who is everyone's favourite gaff makers? That's not any of us.
Davy Rocket, that's 100% mine. Not gonna lie. I am biased. He's a good friend, so I've got to. But no.
Just trying to think.
There's
through
not
names.
that many though.
Well, for me, it's Hondo, purely because when I seen that, like, it's the one moment in my like gaff witnessing career where I seen a gimmick and I was like, I didn't think it was possible.
To be that clean.
You know what I mean? To be that clean. He's kind of like set a brand new level, which was up until that moment in history never had been achieved. And I think I always like people who push the frontier. You know, like Davey is incredible. Jeremy Hammerhand, incredible. But people who like push the boundaries, like that's what I think. That's
one thing I will mention is that there is not many gaff makers. So any of you that actually are interested in that stuff, go for it. You'll kill it because no one else does it. So it's a very niche subsect, and people need it. People definitely need it. Companies need it especially. So
we need it.
Yeah.
Make other tricks, please. Please.
Yeah, please. Oof.
By the way, guys, we're at, what is it? I get it, it's a hot day, so no one's watching, but 18 likes. Drop some likes for the guys who are dropping knowledge bombs for everyone here today, please. Let's get up to at least 30 likes. For every like for a degree of the temperature in the UK.
What do you think of the Gaff Academy?
I'm not too familiar with it.
I'm not familiar with it.
I think it's a YouTube channel that teaches gaff cards, maybe? I'm not. If that's what it is, I don't know. Can someone elaborate?
Yeah. Lloyd, can you talk about more ways to get to perform as someone who doesn't gig? That's something I've been lacking a lot.
Yeah, I mean, Jake's probably doing more of this than me at the moment.
Dude, yeah. It's just any opportunity. It doesn't have to be a gig.
Yeah.
Like, but also, it depends what you're comfortable with, because I don't necessarily think to get into stuff you do have to get out your comfort zone, but I don't necessarily think you have to jump straight into the deep end. I know a lot of people are really strict about that, and it's like, no, throw you to the sharks, get on stage. I don't think there's anything wrong with if you go around your friend's house and there's 4 friends and you've prepared a couple of tricks.
Yeah.
Like, you treat that as a performance still.
Yeah. For me, a big part of it for me is being embarrassed of doing it.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is like, not so much these days, but like I definitely used to be, I would practice and I wouldn't be able to do a slide that I had down. So even now, if I'm in a situation where I end up performing and I'm for some reason I'm like unsure of it, I mean even anyway, I would say have one trick that just literally cannot go wrong. So one trick that I perform quite often is I will write down like 8 of hearts on a piece of paper and put it in my pocket. This is not even a joke, I swear. I'll write down the top card of the deck, put it in my pocket. I'll take out the deck, I'll say, okay, I'm going to show you something. I'll control the 8 to the top, keeping it at the top. I'll cross-cut force them. And then, they do that themselves, right? So the only thing you have to do is keep the card on top. If you can't even do that, and it's in the middle, say, look, this whole deck is completely different. Find that card and cut it to the top. So you have to do no sleight of hand. crosscut force them, and I use the crosscut force for mostly every trick with bomb
best.
cards anyway. But they do that in their own hand, so you didn't even touch it. And then I reveal it. I reveal the piece of paper from earlier on and go from there. It's a trick that cannot go wrong. It's a trick that plays really, really strongly. And what you find is that once you've done one trick and they give you a good reaction, you will find it infinitely easier to perform more tricks that you have. But in terms of getting into performing the trick, like getting the opportunity to perform or creating the opportunity, I think the best advice I can give is to be prepared to do a trick, but to just find a way to bring magic up. Don't ask them do they want to see a trick, but find a way to bring it up into conversation. It could just be, did you ever see that David Blaine in the ice before? Oh, do you think he really held his breath? And then someone goes, oh yeah, are his tricks real or fake?
Yeah.
I think they're real. I mean, I've even practiced a few.
Yeah.
A few? Can you show one? If you want.
Really good.
You know, and it just bring the conversation topic up, and the rest will happen for you.
Even the professions thing that you were mentioning before, that's another way to kind of get into it. If you kind of ask people like what they do as a hobby, then you go into jobs, and then it becomes like this linear thing where you inherently kind of get to that topic without it feeling forced. You've asked them hobbies, what do they do, then it's profession.
Like, well, yeah, like for example, you could literally do this, right? You could say, "Hey, nice to meet you. What's your name?"
Jake.
Cool. You alright, man?
Not too bad. Yeah, it's hot.
Yeah, it's boiling. What are you doing here? Are you working here?
Leisure.
What do you do in your spare time?
I like to take long walks on the beach, drink pina colada.
Getting caught in the rain.
Exactly.
Cool, man. Then you ask me what do I do in my spare time.
Oh no, I'm selfish. What do you do in your spare time?
Same sort of stuff really, but I've been practicing a bit of magic lately, which sounds a bit crazy, and I also do like gaming and surfing and stuff.
Wow. Could you show me something?
No.
I'm like not got anything ready, but I can try. If it goes wrong, I've only been practicing, so don't judge me. I'm not, you know. And then you've given yourself a level which, like, hey, because if you are a newcomer and you're nervous, you say, well, I've only been practicing. I'm not great, you know, but I'll try. And then people are kind of like they champion you then because you've told them, look, I'm a bit nervous, I'm not great. And they're like, oh, go on, please. You know, okay. And then suddenly they've asked you to do a trick. You told them that you're not super confident and anything, and then suddenly they're like, oh, go for it. And when you do the trick, they'll boost your confidence more.
Yeah. Another thing isn't the initial just full on, no, I don't do it, because otherwise people could instantly lose, you know, that thing. So I think it's interesting that you brought up that point of like, oh, well, no, but actually, well, I do it, and then you go into it that way, and it brings it more, you know, you'll still do it, but you kind of dismissal at first. You're dismissing it, sorry.
Weirdly enough, when it comes to certain elements of mentalism, I think you should do the opposite.
Oh.
And never say that you're only just starting off or you're not that good, because it ruins it.
Oh, yeah, because you're not, they think, well, he's not really reading my mind. He's just testing. Yeah. Mentalism, very different to card magic.
Super different.
Or magic.
Yeah.
How would you, right, so say you don't want to approach someone and say, do you want to see a piece of mentalism?
Mm-hmm.
You want them to ask you, how would you, like, would you reenact that conversation with me? How would you go about
it? Depends what the situation is.
So sorry about your nan.
Do you know something I don't?
Well, we're at a funeral, we're reenacting the conversation.
Okay. Well, I would honestly, if it was at a funeral, like honestly, I'd get someone else to tell someone that I did it.
Did you? That's a good ploy.
Yeah.
Tell them that I do mentalism.
I tell my sister to tell my cousins over there.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Do you know one thing you could do, which if you're at a party, you could have a list of things to do. You could have beer pong. You could have Twister, PlayStation, perform a magic trick, and you could put it in DFB.
Oh,
and be like, and so when it comes to a lull, like, what should we do, guys? Like, I don't know. I got a list of things we could do. Choose one, and it says, great. What should we do? Do a trick. Really do a trick. Does anyone do magic tricks? I mean, I downloaded those on the internet. No, I don't do any magic tricks. I used to know some as a kid. Like, you have a deck of cards? Boom. I used to use DFB to force what I wanted on KB for food.
Thank you. I love that. I absolutely love that. The other thing is, like, you can spread a rumour if it's someone you know. Not a rumour, but you know, it's spreading like something. But I do actually like to just do it if it's someone I'm just speaking to, and even if the subject hasn't fully been broached, ask if I can show them something, and it's just a light introduction. It's like, oh, this is what I'm into, this is what I do.
Yeah.
Can I take you, like, can we go into a different room and I can show you something?
Yeah.
And then say to them, don't tell anyone. And just watch and see if they do. Because usually they'll go and tell their two friends over there.
Oh, I love that. Don't tell anyone.
Yeah.
It's like saying, don't think of an elephant. No one can keep a secret.
Don't tell anyone what's happened.
I thought you were going to say something along the lines of, this I'd say, so imagine I'm the mentalist, right? So I go up in a whatever event I'm at, I'd say, oh, I'm not sure, but the girl that's got blonde hair, is she alright? Do you know her?
Yes, I do.
No, you can say no, like, right? So say no.
No,
so the
I
girl
don't.
blonde hair, is she alright? Are you friends with her? No? Okay,
No.
alright. Well, I don't know. Ask me why. Are you inhuman?
Emotionless.
I haven't been given
Right,
my lines.
To be fair,
my
given the context,
Stage,
it's a bit
right,
hard
okay,
to,
yeah.
like,
Right, so I'd say, is that random girl that I'm literally making up, the blonde girl, is she okay? So
I don't know. I've got no idea.
and you'd say, oh, why wouldn't she be okay? And then, because it
Is there
gives
a reason?
Are you?
Why? What has happened?
Yeah,
What's
ask them what the
what's
most
going on?
no, nothing major. But I was doing some mind reading for her, and I brought up some personal things, and she was happy, elated, but she was quite upset. But it was quite a visceral thing. I just wanted to know if she was your friend to check up on her. And I'm making the person up. There's actually not a blonde person like that in the party. But then you'd go, oh, hang on, he sent some mind reading that was so powerful, they cried.
yeah.
And then they say, natural leading is like, it's going to spread then like wildfire. Can you show me? That's all I was getting at.
No. Okay. I'm just
Hi,
sociopath.
what's your name? Jake.
I don't care about
Anyway,
anyone else.
well, that's not yet.
I think we've got a few other questions about crippling nerves when it comes to performing. But I feel that one of the best ways, if it sounds such a bigger thing than it is, which is going out and getting a residency. If you want to perform and you have some free time at the same time every week, why not? You know, you're getting paid for it. You've got an audience that's just willing to watch you perform, and you don't know any of them. So if you mess up, if your nerves get the better of you when you slip up, you're never going to see any of those people again.
Yeah.
You just move on to the next table and forget about them. You've got to put in an initial section of work to get the residency, and after you've got it, it's just free audiences after free audiences that you're getting paid to perform for.
Another thing I was going to mention is obviously it can even still, like let's say you're going to go and busk, even still, or like you want to go up and perform to one person, you might be like, oh well, I may not see them again, but what if I do? So another thing I would say, if you're ever travelling, you've got an option to perform to every single person you meet. So you just walk around and have a deck in the hand, like you don't care about what
Traveling
people
helped
think.
me become a better.
So that's what I was going to say, because no one cares at that point. You're just a random person. If your accent's a bit different, people start like, oh, what do you do? And like, who are you? And it kind of, that's another thing I was going to mention, because every single time I travel, I'm always like, oh, so yeah, let's do something. And it's always like, there's no fear of like, oh, I'll know this person in 2 weeks. If he says no, then it's a bit like a, well, yeah, that was another thing.
I mean, one. Sorry, were you going to speak?
No, I just love airport magic.
Yeah, I've done. Yeah,
It's so good.
I was gonna say one major tip to get people to ask you some tricks: just hold a deck of cards and just shuffle them.
Yeah.
Just stand there shuffling a deck of cards. They either think that you're into poker, or they'll ask you to do some magic.
A weird one though that I notice is the people in the corner. Never be the person in the corner cowering with the deck of cards doing flourishes, because it gives the wrong impression. I will say that.
Yeah, it makes you look like a recluse. Like,
Yeah. Like do it and don't do it for too long.
One other tip would be if you want to get some like sort of bulletproof performing in, is these days, and I read it in the Psychology of Magic book, but it's a great thing. You could just, one of these websites where you can just pull up a random stranger on a video. Omegle. Go on, like Harry Mack, the freestyle rapper.
Yeah.
He's incredible. He goes up and just freestyles to people on Omegle, and if they don't want to see it, they go to the next person. So you could go on that website, you could just have a trick ready, wait till someone and say, hey, can I show you a magic trick?
Sure,
And you probably could spend 3 or 4 hours a day doing that for a month, and you probably could transfer a lot of those newfound skills straight into the real world, because suddenly you perform to 300 strangers in a week, which you couldn't do as easily walking around your hometown.
And if you might think, oh well, it's a bit amateurish to do stuff like that. I know genuine professionals that do this just for fun on the weekend because they want to try out a new method and they're not too sure of it. Like they're like, what if I could change the medium? And they want to do a show and stuff. People do this all the time. It's not a rarity that you'll see a magician on Omegle, to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It's a great way of just encountering new people that know nothing about you and just practicing on them.
100%.
I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna go on there. Sorry, and I'm gonna try my new crazy man's routine on them.
I was gonna say that. I was like,
Coin to watch is gonna be a great one to test out.
Has anyone got any ways to make the double lift easier and to make it look flawless? I guess so. Maybe just focus on the easier part because getting any slide to look flawless is really just a matter of practice. But if you got maybe just any tips on the double lift.
I do a lot of double lift stuff, but I feel I've taken up a large portion of this.
My philosophy on it is it's the type of slide you don't need to do in a trick. You can just sit there watching TV, turning over 2 cards. You can feel if they slip. So you can just sit there and watch the TV, turning over 2 cards. You'll eventually also just develop a feeling for 2 cards, which can help with a lot of things. But just sitting there and just turning over 2 cards, you can feel if you mess up.
Yeah.
That's the best way to practice for me.
I mean, I think like with a double lift, the 90% of the battle is getting the break under 2 cards.
Yeah.
So my biggest advice is learn the pinky break. It'll feel completely horrible, knacky and unnatural for the first few days, and then suddenly it'll be the preferred method for yourself. But the pinky break means you can do almost every double lift from that position. But either way, get into a break. Don't spend time thinking about the ways of turning it over. Spend most of your time getting the break.
Yeah.
Because then you can just do this, just picking it up normal. I mean, that, we all laugh at that as magicians, but to a layman, that is the most normal way to show a playing card on top of the deck. We're too connoisseur-y of our own magic. But then you can just, with a pinky break, you just do this and put it in. Super simple. But it allows you to get into every position whether you want to do,
I was going to say, if you're going to talk about ease of use, weirdly enough, the push-off double lift and the strike double lift and a bunch of those double lifts seem very difficult at first. They seem like something that you get worried about. But once you actually get them down, they make life so much easier and make performing easier because I don't have to get a break during a performance. I can literally just hit it and just instantly turn over 2 cards. So it's one of those things that's well worth the practice. I'm not a big advocate for the pass a lot of the time and a lot of irrelevant moves, but I think the double lift is one of those moves that if you're going to put enough time into any slide, make it be the double because you'll use it probably the most out of every single move you'll ever do pretty much.
It's interesting because my double lift is awful because I barely ever use it because I just have the deck at the side of my body and do it. And also, if it's done with billets, which is probably the most often I use a double lift, it can be as sloppy as a one. No one's looking at the billets for a move.
True.
But I do it on an offbeat, and I don't care how ugly it looks.
Yeah.
Because I never performed to magicians.
I know this is controversial, but once you're just trying to learn and practice on people, don't be afraid to get a break at the back. Yeah. Don't be afraid of it. Just do it. I know people will turn their noses up at it and say, "Oh, it's not." It's not. Who cares? If you create magic in the mind of an audience member, then you've done your job. Well done. F the haters.
Obviously, just while practicing, you don't want to keep those habits for the next 10 years.
Practice your double lifts and your pinky breaks in the background. But if you need to do it. Do whatever 100%. Works.
This one's been directed at me, but I guess we could all chip in on it. How have you promoted yourself to do gigs? How have you got said gigs? So
I think you're probably the most qualified. I had the residency. It was a lot different.
So mine was my main form of marketing is the residency. I do.
So how did you get it to begin with?
Yeah. So I'll do background. I do 3 a week. Because of college and stuff. And I just throw business cards they don't cost me anything. I throw them out. There are two kind of leads you can get from a business card. You can get a cold lead and a hot lead. A cold lead is a lead that someone will take your business card, put it in their bag. 3 weeks later, while they're thinking of their mum's 50th birthday party, they'll open their bag, they'll see a card, and they'll pull it out, and it's yours, and they'll go, "Oh, that'll be great." That's that's a cold lead. A hot lead is when someone says to you, "Oh, have you got a business card?" And I think it was Craig Patty that said, if you get someone that asks you that question, straight away give them a business card, but ask for their phone number. You've given them your details. You have you have a kind of a moral right to ask for theirs. You take that business card, you take their number, you put it in a notes document. You take their numbers. Once you get back home, you just drop them all a message. "Hi, nice to meet you. What kind of gig were you thinking to hire me for, etc., etc." You want to capitalise on everything that you get when you're with a potential customer.
You've got to have inbound and outbound marketing.
Yes, yeah. But getting residencies, it's kind of the same process. I went to, I hopped in the car with my dad on a night he had off work, and we just hit every single restaurant, every single brewery, every single bar, every single more financially higher end establishment that we could find. Went in, I pitched myself, I brought my iPad with me, I had a show reel on it. I was like, if you want to see a trick, I'm more than happy to.
Did you go in the middle of the day? Did you go at night time?
I went about 4:30, so just after the lunch rush, after they'd clean up, and just before the evening rush. That was, it worked decently well.
You don't want to go to a really busy time because they won't have time for it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But you don't want to pitch your magic when you're trying to get a residency. You want to pitch what you can do for the customers. There's a bunch of stuff you can say, but like the main things are, you can increase the customer satisfaction rate, you can increase the return rate, increase the amount of positive reviews, decrease the waiting time that they feel between their order and them getting the meals. There's a lot of different things that you're doing for the restaurant that isn't just being a magician for them. So they're the things that you want to tell them, because at the end of the day, I don't think I've shown my manager a whole single trick in any of the restaurants, but I'm still there because I do all the things that I told them at the start. And that's another thing. Don't over-promise yourself. Don't say, I can boost your customer rates by 20% on these days. Because if you don't, that's why they've hired you.
Yeah. You
want to give general overstatements like, "This is what I can do for you." You don't want to promise it. You just want to say, "This is what I can do."
That was awesome, Sam.
Yeah, thank you.
Sick. I used to just go to pubs.
To be fair, it's a good way to get gigs.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
I know so many people that have started that way. So
I used to work in a huge nightclub and perform magic in there as well, and met a lot of people. But also I live above a party shop that my family owns. So if I want a gig, then I just say, "Can I put some cards in here?"
that's a nice idea, though. If you think about it, going to a party party shop and saying, "Hey, would you? If I offer, hey, could I put some of these here? If not, you go, maybe I could throw a bit of money this way, and could you put it here?"
It's like with weddings, isn't it? When people want to focus on weddings, you have to go to the wedding fairs where there's a million couples coming to check out all of the different caterers, all of the different magicians.
True.
You have to be in that world if you want to be in it.
Yeah.
Do you know what they normally have at parties? Food. On that note.
Yes! Oh, we're going out for a romantic candlelit dinner.
Yeah! So everyone, thank you all so much for tuning in. We're 3 likes away from 30, so drop the like button, smash, and that was episode 15 of the Black Art Podcast Live. If you want to come back next week, we'll be here every Wednesday at 5 p.m. We will. Sam Sugarman. You can find Sam at
Sam.s269 on Instagram.
Brilliant username there.
Yeah.
Elliot Gerard, you already know and love. Where can we find you?
Elliot_Gerard on Instagram as well, but yeah.
And also maybe some surprise videos drop in. Actually, we've already told him.
Yeah.
He's doing some tutorials on the channel. Jake Keane at Synchro Mystic Magic.
I don't care, don't follow me.
And you already follow me if you're watching this on the channel. So if you haven't done so already, hit the subscribe button, smash the notification bell, and we'll see you all very, very soon in the next episode. God,
that was
amazing. That was amazing. Okay,
we got to turn it off.
I have to scuttle over there and turn it off.
Go on.
Nobody say any swear words, they'll still be able to hear us.
Yeah.
Everyone silently dance for 30 seconds. like it's the end of a sitcom.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I think they do it on RuPaul's Drag Race.
No one told you that.
That was good.